What's up, everybody? It's your boy King. You're watching the Johnny I Pro Show.
Black on everything, black. All black, everything, black. Black on everything, black.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Johnny I Pro Show. I'm here with a day one hip-hop artist, Toronto known, King. Welcome back to the show.
What up, man?
I always appreciate when you drop by. Now, let's get right into it, okay? Give everybody a little summary of all the stuff you've done, your projects, your albums, all that stuff. So let's begin all the way back in 2017, Field of Dreams.
Oh yeah, that was one of those albums where it was actually very special to me because it was me coming out of incarceration, telling people I wanted to be a rapper, and everybody looked at me like a stereotype. But then when Madame Jean, the former Governor General of Canada, gave me a grant to do it, everybody started to raise an eyebrow, like, you know, maybe we should pay attention to this person because he's putting himself in positions and in places that we never been, and he's doing all this with a criminal record, so...
It just shows you exactly, yeah. And then right now, okay, now, like, say, like, couple songs that just stand out to you from that album. Like, is there any, like, just, like, your favorite? Well, I'm sure the whole album's your favorite, obviously, right? Because as an artist standpoint yourself, like, your whole album is obviously your favorite. But, like, is there any just tracks that really just stand out to you?
I would say Above It All. Above It All was...
that's a tough track for sure.
Honestly, like, the hardest track to make because it was at a point I recorded it where all my homies were getting killed. So... it's basically like a rest in peace album to all the people that I lost growing up in the streets of Toronto. So that was more like a dedication.
For sure. And the album cover as well, is that like a Jackie Robinson type vibe, right?
Yeah,
that's what I was getting at.
It was definitely a tribute to Jackie Robinson when he played for the Montreal team. A lot of people didn't even know that history about him, but...
Exactly. They all know him just about the Dodgers, basically. Historic, but exactly what you just said right there. Very Canadian and historic right there. Exactly. Now let's go right into obviously like the last time I interviewed you, as you see right here, it is the Sell You a Dream album right there, guys. All on platforms as well too. If you guys want to take a listen to it, like I said before, one of my favorite tracks is Foreign Whips. Yeah. Just the way it starts, like just the way it starts as well. And who as well is on that track as well? What's her name?
Adria.
Yeah, she phenomenal.
She's a phenomenal
she's just
artist.
Phenomenal. And just the way it starts off and stuff like that's track. And obviously the track that started off for me as well is Black.
Yeah.
That's a tough track right there. And I'm sure too, a lot of people as well. I heard before, like they try to like not copy the style, but copy the song as well. Wasn't there like a little like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. But you're the originator because I'm sure you're like the first one I heard with that all black everything, like just the way it was going. Like you're the first one to like just drop that. And I'm sure there's other people as well. Like I'm sure in the game of hip hop, there's always people that want to copy like styles or like whatever it is. What's your take on that?
Well, what happened was I recorded Black in 2016, and I performed it at the National Canadian Summit 2017 in Toronto. And then some people from Buffalo reached out to me to try to sign me from Buffalo, but at the time I couldn't cross the border. But where I messed up was I sent them the track, but I didn't get them to sign like a like a non-release part. So they probably played it for other people and other A&Rs, and then, you know, if you hear my song and you hear others, you'll see that's where they got the originality from. But they can't do it like the original.
Shady, very. It's a shady business.
Oh, it is. It's definitely a shady.
It's like eye for eye type of thing. And obviously it was by the Toronto Arts Council, but wasn't it funded by the City of Toronto as well, right?
Yes.
Which you never hear that from really. That they must have obviously seen something special in you to give you that fund, give you that grant basically.
Well, you know, when you come with a project that's trap conscious that you developed yourself, where you're speaking on what happens in the streets, but you don't swear in your music, and you give the good, the bad, and the ugly side of it, and you're just honest.
The realness, yeah.
Yeah, when you're just honest with the people around you as well as yourself, then, you know, real recognize real. And shout outs to Toronto Arts Council and the judges that were there that allowed me to get the money that I was rewarded.
Yeah, for sure. And like, what is like, basically like, see now let's sum up like we did on the Field of Dreams, the 2017 album. Now this one here, Sell You a Dream. Like, what tracks are really like? I guess like yours, like just your favorite to perform, or just like what really stands out. I'm sure Black is one of those. The fans just related to it as well at a perfect time.
Man, I would think Foreign Whips.
Yeah, that's a tough track.
Foreign Whips.
Gives me like some Fast and Furious type like vibe.
That's honestly because to me, my buddy Moose was the one that made that production because I guess they were working on Mercedes, the G-Wagons. They took all the parts of the G-Wagons and made it into a beat. And I
crazy.
remember one day I just went to his house by accident, and I'm like, yo, what is this?
Oh.
And I'm like, yo.
I think it was just hard. When I heard that, I'm like, holy, that's a track right there.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, and like, so basically, I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know, at what age, like, did you start rapping or took this, like, whole hip hop rap thing serious? Like, at what age did you, like, realize to yourself, like, I'm gonna take this on forward?
I think like 24 or 25, because I was more a spoken word poet.
Yeah.
You know, so it was pretty hard for me. You go from a list of words to just a minimum words, right? Because rap is very condensed and very succinct. So you can't say everything you want to say as a poet as you do as a rapper. You have to edit a lot of your words that are coming out to fit the melody of the track.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's say now, obviously now, like, so some people, like, I'm sure because the last project you had was 2020. So now your new songs as well as the other day you made me hear as well. I got a little snippet preview of Right Now, which is hard. That's a banger for sure. Like, give me a little background story of the Right Now, like who's it produced by, all that stuff.
Right Now on this or Up
Featuring,
Right Now?
Up Right Now.
Oh,
Sorry.
Up Right Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me and my boy Double X. Shout out to him. That track was, we recorded that during the pandemic, and we wanted to actually shoot a video for it, but, you know.
Yeah, things went to a stoppage.
Yeah. So, no, that track was just a feel-good track from, you know, coming out of incarceration and, you know, getting a part in, which I finally obtained. And, you know, just being happy to be alive and celebrating every day that you get, because today you're here and tomorrow you might not be.
Exactly. Every day's a blessing, literally. So now, okay, let's get right into, like, I guess the topic of, let's talk about, like, the city itself, music, hip-hop in general, right? Like, obviously, we got the greats, like, obviously, Drake, The Weeknd, whatever it be, and up-and-coming as well, like, say, like, Jessie Reyes, it's, like, she's actually up-and-coming, and you also did, like, I mean, well, you, like, know of her, I guess, of the same, like, it's, like, studio,
project.
remix project as well. Like, what is your take on her, like, her success? Because she's really blowing up right now. Like, even before, too, but she's just, like stardom right now, basically.
Honestly, she's super dope, and you know what I mean, I known her before, like the fame and everything, and she's still the same humble person even when I meet her today. Like, she just has a real good, genuine vibe to her. You know, she's very down to earth. My kids always love playing with her and like trying to scare her at like Moose's birthday party. So yo, it's all like a big family, to be honest, and you know, I'm happy that, you know, she has gained the success that she's gained because she's been grinding, you know.
Exactly, on tour, she has, like, big tracks with, like, Sam Smith, like, all these, like, big artists.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, you got to understand, like, everybody forfeits something to be in this game, you know. You know, you could lose loved ones or you could lose good relationships trying to grow as a person, as an artist. So it ain't easy, you know. Everybody sees the outside glory, but no one sees, like, behind the scenes, right?
Exactly, and it's not like it just came overnight type thing. Everything was based exactly. Now, and as well, let's get right into it. Okay, before I even start this, let's say the fan base, right? Like, she has a fan base. Are we ever going to see a future collab with King and Jessie Reyes? Now, that's a Toronto upcoming right there. You never know. You never know.
You know what? Honestly,
anything's possible.
Anything's possible, but I don't know. Like, you know, I don't want to.
Exactly, she's in her own lane.
Yeah, she's in her definitely own lane. Let me just, you know, reach her lane of success.
And then we'll talk that type of thing.
You know
exactly.
What I mean?
And now let's see. Now I seen you on a campaign as well for the Tiff Bell. Let's talk the mental health. Like, there's like a blind stigma, right?
Yeah, it was. There was one. There was a blind stigma that I did with Stacey Ann Buchanan. That was actually a pretty dope production. It was about the mental health in the black community. And I was just speaking on it from a black male point of view because she didn't have any black males that were willing to, you know, dive in deep and talk about what they're going through. And, you know, a lot of people, they use their numbness as a shield. But, you know, I'm a person that if I'm able to help somebody by the words that I'm saying, then I'm going to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how it makes me look, right? So.
And especially like nowadays too, like just mental health, just in general, like mental health. People think sometimes like, you know, it's a joke because they don't go through, but it's a real thing, of course, because you know, like in life in general, there's ups, there's downs. That's just how it is. Nothing's perfect. Don't see social media of what it is because you know, obviously, social media you're only seeing the bright side of things, right? But you don't know what that person's going through legit. So that's why, like, I love that campaign as well. Like, just mental health in general is very important. As cheesy as that may sound now, as well, like you're in your take now, you're a community as well. I call it like activist, right?
Yeah.
I seen you recently. You were at like some what was that? Like you,
yeah,
and you're like saying your whole speech. So what is your take on that right there?
Well,
like, what was that all about?
It was basically because the children are basically fighting for education, right? And for me, it's pretty sad that it has to come to the point where the children are the ones leading the protest, not the parents, right?
Exactly.
Because me, as a parent, if my son wants to come and tell me, you know, this is what's happening in the school, I wouldn't even go to the principal. I would go to the superintendent.
Exactly.
And if that's not clear, then okay, we're going to rally up the parents and we're going to hold a protest because we care about our children. But, you know, I'm really glad that the children took it in stride and, you know, brought a peaceful protest, got the news involved, and showed, listen, we're not bad people. You know, some people, even the students that might be classified as bad people, they just have bad habits because no one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to travel 45 minutes on the bus to do bad.
Exactly.
You know, if a lot of people want the opportunity to do good, but there's no way to do good in a predicament where, you know,
like they obviously judge you right away. They think you're going to do something bad.
Yeah, where
Exactly.
there's prejudice. So, you know, if you're not given the opportunity to showcase your talent, then frustration is going to build up, and men have a lot of testosterone, and they're going to try to find a way to let it out.
Exactly. That's what it is. So, like, I just see like there's just so much like there's just so much negativity. If you just basically like as you know, it's sometimes it's easy to say, but it's hard to take in type of thing, right? Like obviously you could like preach to yourself or preach to other people good things, but do you take it into your like it's you know what I'm trying to say? Like do you take it into yourself as I don't know, you know nowadays in this world there's like so much like I say I can't even swear like bull crap. Let's be real for a second, right?
Yeah.
There's like you can tell from the real, you can tell from the fake. That's how it goes anyways. Now let's get right back into the music side of things. Like AIA, exactly. What is that like the record label basically?
Yeah,
Entertainment?
Above it all entertainment. You know, I started that when I came out of being incarcerated and we're trying to figure out a name for the record label. And I just thought it fit with everything that I was going through, that I always rose above the expectations because a lot of people, they don't expect you to bounce back from being incarcerated for 2 years. You know, life changes a lot. When I went in jail, I think it was the iPhone was just coming out.
Yeah.
So
social media, basically.
Yeah, social media, you know.
But that controls the world, literally.
Yeah, and then like everything was just foreign to me. Like BlackBerry Messenger, like everything was so different. I felt like I just came out into the matrix where
if you're behind a little bit, you gotta get there.
Everybody's head was in their phone. Like email money transfers were crazy. Like I was like, what are you talking about? Like
you could just EFT like straight from your phone. You're about to send you money. It's like the old school way. Wait, I gotta go to the debit machine, take you some money.
Dude, it was so. I almost threw up because it was technology was so different from when I was out here before I got incarcerated. To me, coming out and seeing it, it was so different.
But look at you now and stuff. Is it like say like in the community like a role model to look at and stuff? Like look at you basically, like just the way like whatever you've been through, all your like just everything in general and stuff. Like what has being obviously in there for 2 years, like what has it taught you coming out? Like obviously it made you a different person, but what has it just made you like in general like see life as like obviously the precious thing that it is?
Well, it's like you take a lot of things for granted.
Of course.
You know? Even to look up at a night sky. You know, you take that for granted. When you're inside, you can't, see that. There's no clocks that you could look at to see what time it is. Everything, you're just basically trapped in a holding cell where you don't know what's going on and who's doing this and who's doing that. You know, it makes you appreciate the little things, hugs, because you can't really hug your family. You're in a bulletproof glass. You talk to them through a glass. And it's... What I took from there is that I never wanted to allow myself to be comfortable, because when you're comfortable, that means it becomes a revolving door for you.
Exactly, like a habit basically. You never want to do that, exactly. And like onto like say now like to the album and stuff, right? Like we could break down like Black, like the background of Black, the song when it was out and stuff. It's just like I guess Black History Month type of vibes it's giving.
It was.
It's a hard song. Like that's one of my favorites as well. Black on everything.
Yeah, like when I recorded Black, I wanted it to be for the movie Black Panther.
Oh yeah, you're telling me
that. The
first movie that came out.
Yeah, the first movie where they get to go to Wakanda for the first time. Like I think if that would have opened up with like Black, like it would have
been legendary.
Yeah, it would have been a legendary landmark.
And it just goes perfectly, guys. I'll put the link as well. You'll see like if you hear the songs, well, like exactly what he's saying. That's what I'm just preaching stuff. Like obviously there's the big, like, say the huge artists that are not even as good as the artists, like, say, like yourself or just other people around and stuff. Like, right? Like, people, like, just think of the mainstream. That's what the problem is, I think, nowadays. Because there's obviously that song, Black on Everything, goes perfectly with that movie, right? But like I said, they always go for that mainstream. They're always going to go for, oh, what's popular, right? It's like the clout chasing base. That's what it is exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it is exactly, which I don't agree with, but that's the world that we live in.
But I stay true to my core, right? Because I feel the music that I'm making is gonna impact people. It's just now I gotta take my poetic side and put it into the business side and just get it to people's hands and get it in front of people's eyes, because I know once people hear the music, they're gonna be like, honestly, this is what my heart's been longing for, because there's no messages in mainstream media nowadays. It's always the same thing: money, car, drugs, and the fast life. But
exactly,
you know, you get an artist that actually lived that lifestyle that could tell you that's not always that glamorous. You probably get to live like that for maybe 3 years if you're lucky, and then everything goes downhill, and then you're trying to battle back and trying to, you know, fight being indicted and curfews and, you know.
Because they think just money runs everything. Well, obviously you need money to survive, let's be real, but at the end of the day, the root of all evil, 100%, has to be 100%. And I'll back on that album, obviously, your newest album, well, that came out a couple years ago, but right up to date, so Sell You a Dream. And obviously, the featured artists you have on there, Moose. So give us a little background on that, so people that really don't know about Moose.
Oh, man, I grew up with Moose. Like, that's my day one right there, man. We actually born a day apart. So we both
twins.
Virgos. Yeah, like we both, you know what I mean?
Virgos, right? Yeah, same here as well, Virgo. That's
shoot, that's what's up, bro. But yeah, no, like he's been, you know, riding with me since day one. You know, ever since I told him I want to switch over to this, you know, hip hop music scene, and yeah, he's just been all for it. You know, so I was happy to work with him and pay him through the grant money that I got to create this, you know.
This masterpiece, literally a masterpiece, guys. And now, like, obviously, then the next one too, like Adria came, like we said, Foreign Whips. Her voice, it just gives me like some like you know, like Janae Cole type vibes. Like, you know, it's just one of those like you could just listen to. It's really good. It's like, so how did you meet up with her? And like, how did you drop this track with her, basically?
Well, I was looking for an R&B singer because I can't sing. I could write stuff for people to sing. But Moose was like, yo, let me get Adria. I'm like, who is Adria? And he's like, oh, some a woman I'm working with at the remix. I'm like, cool. Just ask her what her price is, because, you know, I'm proud to pay people now that I got the funding. And she came in and she blew that track up. Like, honestly, I don't think the track would have been the same without Adria. You know, Adria came in and she just put her raspy, saucy voice on it and just took that whole thing to another level. So, you know, of course, me lyrically, I had to just match
come
it.
right back.
Like,
so once I heard that, I'm like, wow, that's just straight fire. And then obviously right on to next, so the last artist on this, Double X. So give us a little background on him.
Yo, he is so talented. Like, it's crazy. It is honestly crazy. He's such a great soul, great person. Working with him has been, you know, nothing but a pleasure. Like, he's the one that actually showed me how to, like, flow on tracks when I was first starting out. So, you know what I mean? Like, we might even have video footage of that. Like, it goes deep. So, you know, shout outs to Double X. And, yeah, that song's so deep. You know, that was probably one of my favorite to record. And, you know, just the theatrics of how we put that song together, it's like we're painting a picture in your mind as you listen
like Picasso.
to it. Yeah, literally, because honestly, like, I like to make music where it makes people think, in a sense, like, okay, if this was to be a video, how would the visuals look?
To, like, relate to it as well, like real life stuff, like you said before. Because nowadays we get music, like, I'm not going to say no artist, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Gibberish.
Yeah.
Straight gibberish. And the money and stuff that they get to it, but the fans love it. Which, you know, like, obviously I'm guessing it's the younger generation, but the older you get, like, you appreciate real music, you relate to it. But I guess when you're just younger and you're coming up, like, obviously you like your, like, 6, 9, whatever, maybe. Like,
not me.
you know, like you know, like that type of genre, right? Like, you know what I'm trying to say, just like the up and coming. Now, anyways, to wrap this up, now, if there's a message you could tell, like, the youth or whatever it may be, just something like, just like, you know, to motivate them, what, like, just give them your piece right there.
I would say, basically, you know, keep dreaming big, you know, follow it up with actions. Slow progress is still progress at the end of the day. And, you know, stop sharing your dreams with people that are scared to live out their own dreams and try to project their fear onto you, because you know a lot of people are not going to see the dream that God's given you. You know, God gave you that dream for a reason, so it's on you to make that dream your reality. And there's going to be a lot of challenges and tough times, but I feel like when you wake up and you write it down and you just focus on that, and you attract that positive energy comes back to you full circle. So, you know,
Preach.
never give up on
There
your
you go.
dreams.
And now, Rich, before that, obviously, because I always got these questions, like the two new songs you have right now coming up, Virgo, was it Virgo season? No,
Virgo sign.
Yeah, Virgo sign, sorry. And then obviously Up Right Now. What is there a time frame that those are actually going to come out on platform, or what is your take on those?
Yeah, right now we're just, you know, trying to write another Toronto Arts Council grant, just to get the production to the point where we need it to be. And hopefully 2023 or 2024, you'll see it all drop.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
There you go, guys. Toronto's very own right here, King. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Always.